Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost lunar lander landed on the moon just this morning. And in fact, this is the first commercial lander to successfully land on the moon. So that is very significant because we're in an era where we're trying to get back to the moon. You need to see my video that I just posted on why the United States must beat China to the moon, or at least get there as soon as they get there. So this is a very vital thing. The previous lunar landers used to cost billions of dollars to develop. I mean, even the small ones. So I do know that the next lander they're developing is something on the order of $130 million. So this is probably the same ball game in terms of cost to develop. Now, this is very significant because only 5 countries to date have been able to land on the moon, and no commercial enterprises has of yet till today had a successful landing. As we know, Intuitive Machines attempted to land it, and they're actually going to attempt another landing on Thursday. So Thursday may be a big day too. Let's hope Intuitive Machines has a good landing Thursday. So Firefly's Blue Ghost lander actually tried to deorbit the moon. They actually did the deorbit burn, which we call a retro burn on the far side of the moon. Retro means you're firing retrograde to your orbit against the orbit you're in. So that's how you take the energy out of your orbit and you drop out of orbit. So they did that at 2:31 Eastern Standard Time. They fired their main thruster, and they had 8 RCS thrusters, reaction control thrusters. They fired all those to drop the speed from 3,800 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour. They were in a 62-mile high orbit around the moon, which is 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers is considered an uncommon line in here on Earth, which means you're above what's considered officially space. So they chose that as a good orbit line. There are a lot of good videos coming from this. Now, Firefly is an interesting name for this company because it's really something of a firebird. Firefly actually had pre-existed as a company. One of the founders had came from Scale Composites, working actually from Virgin Galactic, and it was insinuated in a lawsuit that the founder had actually taken intellectual property on the composites from it was Virgin Galactic, but it's actually probably Scale Composites now, bought out by Northrop Grumman. Intellectual property, and they lost a lawsuit. So the company shut down and was bought out by another company and somewhat renamed, but they kept the Firefly portion of the name, which I thought was really poetic because they did fly a fire to the moon. So you can say it's, this is a smaller lander. So that name really fits. It's kind of poetic. And Blue Ghost is the name of the lander, which is a rare species of fireflies. So just a little background there. But the key thing is this thing landed in Mare Crisium, I believe, which is the Sea of Crises, is what that means on the moon, which is in the northeast quadrant of the moon if you were to look at it. Now, they landed at the beginning of the lunar day. If you look at the moon now, you can see just a thin crescent. That's, where they landed it, is that in that northeast corner. And what's going to happen is it's going to have a lunar day of 14 days. That's how long the lunar day is, 14 days, and there's 14 nights. So it's got 14 days to do its mission. It's got a drill on board. It's planning to drill down into the depths of the lunar regolith, which is what we call regolith. It's rock because the so-called soil on the moon, most of it is not organic. So it may be in the shaded craters. So this is just crushed rock. It's literally what it is. That's why we call it regolith. Well, they're going to bore down into that and check temperatures as they go down. But they got a unique method for a sample collection. Instead of having a robot arm to pull it out, they're going to blow into it and try to get debris scattered up into a little catcher. Supposedly, hopefully that will be a much more successful way to capture samples for return mission. Kind of like the one that just came back from Bennu, using a little scoop. But anyway, so very similar to that. And they got more than they expected, on the Bennu return mission in terms of quantity, and the quality of those was off the charts. So that's a whole nother story. I need to go into that in a future video. So now Intuitive Machines is also planning to launch a little lunar hopper that will land, where they got command and control, and then hop over the surface. And I think there's some issues with the communications with Firefly right now, with the Blue Ghost lander. But hopefully that'll be worked out. It might have solar cell. But they did get a picture from the surface of the moon. It landed stably. Though, yeah, the 5 countries that's been to the moon, the only prior landers on the moon, several tried, many have failed. But and some had to do it several times. Russia first, United States, China, India, and Japan. Until today, those were the only entities, and it was governments was the only entities that had successfully landed on the moon. So this is exciting because it invokes a new era. This is part of the NASA's lunar uh, commercial lunar landing, commercial lunar payload services. Excuse me, commercial lunar payload services program for small payloads to be able to be brought to the moon. So this is a very significant thing. Now it's a small squat lander, which I think has a lot of advantages for landing on the moon, as opposed to like SpaceX. You got this long, tall thing with a giant engine that's going to try to land and land vertically when it's blasting a crater out and all that lunar regolith dust. So I don't know how they expect that thing to stay upright unless they put in a landing pad first. Anyway, and I got another video it's about to post, or maybe I posted, let it run first. I got a video posting on Elon Musk plan to send humans to Mars by 2028. Check that out. So thank y'all for watching, and just remember, keep looking up because there's a bright future in space. I'm Galactic Greg out.